أعزائي المشاهدين، أهلا وسهلا بكم من جديد مع برنامجكم الأسبوعي برنامج إماراتي. كما عودناكم في كل أسبوع نستضيف لكم خيرة من دولة الإمارات، قصة نجاح أتتنا إلى الدولة منذ 20 عام. Mr. Brian, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
We are so lucky to be here with you in your company. Our team said to you, welcome in our program.
Thank you.
And you would like to know about yourself. Who's Brian when he came to this country at the first time and what you are doing at this moment?
Thank you. So today, my name is Brian Hempenstall. I'm the Vice President and General Manager for RMEA, Middle East and Africa, based here in Dubai. This year will be my 20th year here in the country. Started with General Electric and spent many years with them, and I've been 4 years now with REAM.
The electric engineer who came to this country before 20 years, who was in the booming time, it was an offer, opportunity, or you choose to come here?
Yeah, so I'd been traveling here on and off as a service engineer in the oil and gas industry. So I knew the country, I knew Abu Dhabi very well. I'd been through Dubai many times. And so when the opportunity came to come down and live here, I jumped at it. It was an easy decision.
We find our job, the first position we was in UAE, what it was?
I was a service engineer in the oil and gas business. So we're coming down to Ruwais, down to the likes of ADNOC and Gasco, doing commissioning and troubleshooting on oil and gas projects.
And how we start get higher and higher until we...
We started looking at service as a whole and kind of more holistically, service contracts. And then I got more into the commercial side of services. And that's really where I kind of fell in love with more the commercial piece, the sales piece. And then we had a sister company who did inspections, and an opportunity came up there to lead their sales team. And so I transitioned from more of a technical services role to a sales role. And I've kind of stayed in that track ever since. And kind of my career developed through General Electric and now with REAM.
2004 until 2008, it was booming time, and everyone he had to prove himself because the challenge is so high. What you did in these 4 years?
At the time, we were in a oil field services business, and it was very important to maintain integrity and pipelines and that kind of thing. So that was really our focus, and we were moving the industry from more of a manual, hands-on inspection to an online automated system. So we were very innovative in what we were doing. We were the first to do that.
You keep on the top until Rahim or Ream find you, right?
Yes, correct.
So how was the meeting, or how they offering you?
We had many discussions with different people in Ream. Ream is very specific, has a very specific culture, and it's very important that we find people who can add to that culture and fit with that culture. So we've quite an extensive interview process. I think initially they were attracted by my experience with General Electric and my experience here in the region. But we spent a lot of time with a lot of folks, really them getting to know me getting to know them. So it was a process, but thankfully it worked out in the end.
Is it only Ream or Corona was part of it also?
Funny, I joined Ream 2 weeks before Corona hit. So one of my first acts here was to close down the office for a temporary period. And that was challenging, right? It was a challenging time. All of a sudden everyone's working from home, you're working remotely. Being in a new role as well, you're trying to get to know your new team, but you can't meet them face to face for quite a while. So that was a really interesting and challenging time. But what I would say is the UAE specifically did a great job during COVID, and we were able to open up very, very quickly afterwards, probably ahead of a lot of other countries.
You reach here, the general manager, he meet his employees or his team, and after that Corona hit. So you changed the strategy at all? Yeah,
so we projects came to a standstill. We were very focused on customers. We were trying to understand what their pain points were. So really we saw a big slowdown in projects very, very quickly. There was limited workers allowed to sites and that kind of thing with all the COVID restrictions. But what we did see was replacement, people working at home and replacing their older units. And so we got very focused on individual villa sales and also the replacement market, waiting for the projects to come back.
What's the first action you make it in the company?
I think we looked at the structure of the team. We looked at, what do customers need and what the future direction of REAM looks like and of the industry looks like. And so we restructured the team that we had around products and testing and certification and very specific applications. We looked at projects versus retail. We segmented very much our team to match the market needs.
Let's talk about REAM and the history of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so actually next year, 2025, REAM will be 100 years old. Mm-hmm. It was founded by the REAM brothers in 1925 and has grown from strength to strength over the years. They acquired the Rude business sometime later and put together that air and water piece. Over the years, we've acquired many companies. We are now privately owned by the Paloma family, who are a Japanese family. And that makes REAM different in that we're not driven by short-term, we're not a public company, so we're not driven by share price and quarters. We're very long-term in our thinking and our strategy, and that makes us make different decisions. So we were able, for example, to invest heavily during COVID when a lot of people weren't investing, right? They were pulling back, right? So we were able to we actually opened this office in the middle of COVID. We opened an innovation and learning center in the middle of COVID in Dubai Silicon Oasis. And we also, during COVID, we were putting together the new factory that we have in Dubai Investment Park.
So how did you build the relation, or how you build the trust between you and the president?
I think it's a lot of communication, a lot of open and honest communication. I think you have to be very transparent in your opinions of what you're seeing in the region. And then you have to prove yourself. So you lay out your strategy, you commit to it, and then you execute it. And I think that builds trust, and you can show that you can grow a business, you can grow it well, you deliver on your commitments, is a phrase we use a lot in REAM. And that takes time, right? But I think that honesty, the transparency, the communication, and delivering on commitments is a good combination.
Company reach for 100 years and keep sustainable on the top. So it means there is a red line always. We need to take care of it. So what is it?
Look, I think in terms of sustainability, we have in 2019 we released we launched our sustainability strategy, a greater degree of good, it's called, and we set very specific targets from 2019 to 2025. We chose 2025 because of the 100-year anniversary. So there's kind of three pillars that we look at in terms of the sustainability strategy. Degrees of efficiency, which is really all around designing highly efficient products, and our goal was to reduce greenhouse gases by 50% through 2025. Degrees of learning, which is all around training, plumbers and AC technicians and installers around installing sustainable products, and degrees of innovation, which is all around zero waste to landfill at our manufacturing sites. So we set very specific targets through 2025, and many of them we've exceeded already, and now they've been reset ahead of time. And then we have sustainability champions in every office around the world. So it's a big focus for us.
Sustainable world, as a word, His Highness Sheikh Mohammed, you always talk about it, and prepare for us for COP28. Yeah. It was coming after Corona, which shifted us for digital. So all of us now going sustainable. So do you have any activity during COP28?
We did. We were very active. So we actually had our Senior Vice President of Government Affairs from the US come down to COP28, and she spent a couple of weeks here. Very active with AHRI and many events at COP28. It was a very well received, and it had a big impact, I think. So there's a lot of things that came out of it that I think will have an impact over many generations.
And what the next activity you make it after COP28? What you shift for, or what you add on?
I think we're very focused on customers and what customers need. I mentioned we have an innovation and learning center in Dubai Silicon Oasis. that's a two-way communication facility where we train customers on the technology that we're developing around the world and how it applies here in the region. But we also listen to them and understand from them what it is their needs are, what's changing regulation-wise, what are their energy needs, what savings do they need from an energy perspective. And so we use that ILC, that Innovation and Learning Center, to really help us develop very specific solutions for customers here. So things like inverter, VRF, our commercial heat pump water heaters, all those discussions come out of these discussions with customers at the Innovation and Learning Center.
Mr. Brian, as a leader, so how the leader can build the relation with his 50 person that working with him?
Yeah, look, I think you have to be a good and honest communicator. You have to be out in the region with customers, with your sales team every day. You have to be visible as a leader. You have to build that trust. We have a very specific, collaborative, open culture here at RMEA, and it's very intentional. We work hard at it. It doesn't happen by accident, so we're very focused on building the right culture here and making sure we bring the right people in, they add to that culture. But I think it's very important as a leader that you're on the front lines with your sales teams, with your cross-functional teams. You're out in front of customers with them, helping them wherever you can.
When we talk about the company which get made in UAE label, so it's hard to get it because there's many things they needed during when we are manufacturing. So when you get this label, and what the factory or manufacturer that you are doing?
Sure. So we opened the factory about 18 months now, 18 months ago. So as I said, we're in Dubai Investment Park. We're producing commercial rooftop package units up to 25 tons, specifically for the UAE market. So they're really for commercial applications. So things like warehouses, mosques. There are many applications for the product. We spent a lot of time early on making sure that we complied to ESMA, QCC, the local regulations, working closely with these regulatory bodies to make sure we got everything in place. The products were engineered in the US with input from the R&D team here, and then manufactured here in the UAE. We actually brought our quality leader from our biggest factory in the US and had him stationed here for the first 2 years of operation because we're very focused on quality. So he had the experience, he had the RMEA experience for quality. He brought that here, he educated the local team, did the handover, made sure the product was at the highest level of quality, and then he's gone back to the US now, and he also brings back the flavor of the Middle East, right? Because he's learned the market here, and the next time we design a product for the region, he has that flavor already because of his experience here.
And what's the strategy that you reach for zero waste?
So very focused on, you can see as you walk around the office here, there's a lot of recycling. We're involved in a lot of the government initiatives. At the factory itself, it's all about zero waste for landfill. So we recycle all the refrigerant we use. We recycle all the gas we use for leak tests. So we actually have a full recycling unit at the end of our production line that takes those gases, cleans them and reuses them. So it's a big part of the design of the manufacturing line.
You only supply or also installation you have?
Yeah, so through our partner Leminar, who've been our partner here in the UAE for about 30 years, they do all the installations. We have a service team here as well who work for RMEA, and they work hand in hand with Leminar on installation and service and contracts and after sales service.
Dubai as a hub, we know that everything coming from Dubai and going from Dubai. So the growth start in Africa, and Africa big market now. Yeah. Do you have any activity in Africa?
We do. So we've a salesperson who focuses solely on Africa. He's been developing that market for us for the last couple of years. It's a very, I would say, a very fragmented market. There's 54 countries with, many different regulations, different technology is being used. The technology has been used in South Africa, for example, versus Kenya versus Nigeria are very, very different. So we're very focused on making sure we've got the right technologies for each of those individual markets. And so that's kind of where we're at. We've been developing that over a couple of years. That's a little bit probably behind where we are in the Gulf because we've been here for so many years. But it's certainly a big focus for us, and there's a lot of opportunity there.
The plan was 2 years, we stay 20 years.
Yeah.
If we ask you, what's the next plan?
Probably another 20 years.
So,
I mean, look, the setup here is amazing. It's a great place to live. It's a great place to do business. You know, the UAE government have regulations here, and they've made it easy to do business. They've made it easy to grow. They've made it easy to be innovative. There's an energy here that you don't feel anywhere else. And so it's truly a hard place to live, to leave, right? I think people, once they're here a year or two and they really get to know it, they stay.
right. Challenge is high. When we talk about challenge, we need to remember His Highness Lord Sheikh Mohammed, when he mentioned for us, it's hard to be number one, but the hardest is to stay on the same level.
Yes.
So what the strategy or what the difference between you and your challenger in the market that keep you sustainable on the top?
Yeah, look, I think we're very customer focused. And I think because we're privately owned, we can take that long-term view. Like short-term for us is kind of 5 to 10 years. Long-term is 15 to 20 to 25 years. So it's a very different way of thinking. So we're constantly focused on what can we invest in now here that will sustain us for the next 20 years? And how do we keep innovating and stay close to customers and the regulatory authorities so we know exactly what's happening ahead of time. We can influence it, and we can bring technology from different parts of the world, but make sure that it's relevant here.
When we talk about the strategy or the target that you put it every year, so if I ask you, did you reach for the target every year during 4 years now?
We had some challenges during COVID, right? I think everybody did, especially with the dip in projects. But because we refocused the team on replacement and villa and these smaller pieces of the pie that were continuing to grow, we were able to kind of run through COVID pretty well, actually. And then we saw a big uptick in projects post-COVID. And like right now, I mean, the whole city is booming. You can see it everywhere. It's growing like crazy in every corner of the city. There's a huge vibrancy here at the moment.
Corona let us know more than technologies, than digital, than AI, talking about sustainable solars. We talk about many things. Did any part of this hit your doors?
So in a number of ways, we have a solar-powered water heater that's specifically for residential use. So we've installed it on hundreds of villas here in Dubai. Actually, at our factory, we've just last year we covered the roof in solar panels, and now 30 or 40% of our power comes from solar. So yeah, it's a big part of what we do. I mean, the other piece is the sort of heat pump water heaters, right? Because that's the next technology around energy saving and sustainability, and that's something that we're big in all around the world, that we can pull that technology and adapt it to the region here and put it to good use.
The first industry start shifting for more green, we can say the hotel. The renovation is coming, so much renovation, and the water system or the heat and cold, it's so problem with these hotels. Did you find solution for them? Yeah,
so we use our commercial water heater heat pumps specifically for hotel applications. We also use heat pumps in the pool heating. So for example, Atlantis uses exclusively Ream pool water heaters right across the facility. But yeah, certainly the commercial heat pump water heaters are a very sustainable way to heat water in hotels.
And how you handle after-sale services?
Again, it's a combination of our expertise within the service team that we have here at Ream and our partner Leminar, who have an extensive service team here based right around the country. So they have folks in every emirate, and they can be at your doorstep in a matter of hours.
Responsible for 50 employees, responsible with the chairman or the president, father and the businessman, we can say it at the same time. So how you handle your time?
Yeah, look, the time management is important. I think it's all about priorities. Setting priorities in both personal and business life, and trying to make sure that you balance the two. It can be challenging. I think, at different times of the year, there's different priorities. So you get, typically towards the end of the year, you get a lot of travel, a lot of work-related stuff. And then as you kick off the year again, we do a lot of kickoff meetings and strategy sessions with our teams. And then, during Ramadan, it slows down a little bit. There's a little bit more time for family. So it kind of ebbs and flows through the year. But I think you need to be very aware and very conscious of that work-life balance and making sure you've got the right priorities that have an impact.
So we can say the advantage for the understandable wife.
That is a very big thing in life, 100%, yes. And I'm blessed that I have a very understanding and a good wife.
Personally, Mr. Brian, who built your character?
Oh, I mean, it comes from so many different places. I was lucky growing up in that I grew up in a community where there was maybe 12, 13 kids, all the same age as me, and we were all very close. We've known each other since we were probably 4 years old. And we're best friends today. We travel together, we go on vacation together. You know, I think a lot of it is the people that you grew up with. Initially, I think they shape you early on. Obviously, parents and siblings are the very same. And then, you know, you've people in your career who can be mentors or who are very, very good at what they do, and you can learn from them. I mean, we're constantly learning, right? So it's a combination of, I think, of all these different folks across the spectrum.
Dubai or UAE always open hand for everyone to come here to find his opportunities. So many newcomers coming over the world, they need an advice.
Yeah.
What you will advise?
Oh, I mean, look, I think if you've got an entrepreneurial spirit, if you're innovative, if you've had that mindset, it doesn't matter where you come from, come to Dubai, come to the UAE. I think the infrastructure is here, the mindset is here, the regulations that the government have set up is here. They really incubate startups here, and it's probably the best place in the world right now to come and start up a company.
Finally, this country which have a concept that we cannot find it over the world, the security here. We talk about the safest country in the world, we can say it's UAE.
Yeah.
Starting from His Highness Sheikh Zayed, the one who built this country, and son of Zayed make it #1 in the world. What you will say for the leaders and government for all this opportunity that we have? No,
look, I think, first of all, thank you for the welcome and bringing us all in and letting us live in your country. Your country's amazing. You know, we all feel very safe and welcome here. We all see the opportunity, and we're happy to contribute to the overall growth of the UAE. It's a great place to live and a great place to do business.
From our side, Mr. Brian, we say to you, thank you so much to give us this opportunity, and welcome again in Emarat.
Thank you very much.
دفوتها لها غير وترحبهم ترحب